My name is Robert Gabriel, President and CEO of MicroWise Technology, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule and join us today. This is my contact information. I'll do my best to return your call or emails as I get many of them. Disclaimer, anything you learned during this seminar, please double check it yourself. MicroWise cannot be held responsible for any financial damage or information damage. The agenda today is how to do small balance write-off, batch eligibility verification, electronic remittance, and how to use built-in word processor in Final Draft. Then we're going to open for Q&A. So before I do that, let me just show you, if you want to view any recording from previous sessions, there's a couple ways of doing that. Number one is when you register for this seminar, some of you might have got an email, some of you just might went on the website, hit event, and click on the name of the event. You have here at the bottom, it says, click here to watch previous recorded. So if you click on this TV, this is all the previous recording sessions. At the bottom of the screen, you will have different pages. Now, whatever sessions you are watching, when you click on it, start playing, this icon, it enlarges it to the screen, make it full screen. And this icon here, it will put it in high definition. So depending on your monitor, if it looks fuzzy, you click on this icon and you are now watching the video in a higher resolution. Just to show you an example here. So if you're not seeing the information in detail like that, then most likely you don't have the high definition turned on. So make sure you pay attention to this, because probably by default you will be seeing the 360, and if you do the 360, you're going to see the information so distracted. You see here, see how it's all fuzzy, but once you change it to high definition, then now the information will become a lot clearer, just like that. Okay, so this is true with all my videos. If there's no event posted, let's say, if you check later on today, you might not be able to see an event because it's already gone. So if you click on event, and over here on the event, there's two ways. You can have a list or you can have a calendar. So calendar, you will be able to browse and go back to previous month, and if you click on one of the seminars, let's say this one here, if you click on it, you will get to that invitation, even that it expired, and you'll be able to see the recording from there if I had a link there. The other way of doing it is, let me just go back to the home page. The other way of doing it, if you go and you click on the Medisoft icon, then you click on the Medisoft training. All the way at the bottom of the page, I have a link here to the Medisoft best practices, and it gets you to the same channel. So that's the different ways you can get into this. Okay. So small balance write-off. So this feature lets you automatically write off patient remainder balance, not insurance balances. Now, to do the small balance write-off, you need to understand a few things. Number one, it's a patient remainder balance. It's not, if the information is open to the insurance company, you cannot do it this way. There's other ways of doing it. You can, but you cannot do it that way. The second thing is, small balance could be anything you want. Maybe the small balance is $5 for you, but maybe it's $2,000 for for another practice. So you get to determine what does it mean small balance, right? What does it means for you for small? I like to attach it to a special write-off code. So I like to make a code called small balance write-off, or bad debt, or whatever you want to call it, then link it to it. So to start that is, I'm going to switch back now to my, so to do this, if you go to File, Program Options, and you went inside the program options, there will be a section under the small balance write-off that you get to um, to enable. I think it's under here. So this is your small balance write-off, and this is the dollar amount that you take. So this is, if you do that, it will become your default setting, but you can override it when you want. Let's say if you set it here for $5, but when I'm doing it, it will, maybe I want to do it $20. So this is just a default. The other thing is, when you do that, make sure everybody's out. You should have a backup. It's just in case if something went bad. It's a very fairly saved operation, a safe operation. I have not really got any report on major disaster here. Just the one misconception, people think small balance write-off could work for insurance company, and it's not. Uh, so the second, to enable this, you need to go to activity, and you will need to come here and you will enable small balance write-off. So right here, that's my default. And let's say, my default is for small balance write-off. Cutoff day. Cutoff day means I want the anything older than 90 days or anything older than a year, whatever your cutoff day is. So I'm just going to take anything older than 2015. Okay. And I'm not going to do $5 because this is not a real data. I'm going to do this $500 just so I can show you something, because I probably don't have enough data here. And the submission count means if you send statement to a patient more than 5 times, you can have a submission count here. So uh, this is just an extra feature there. You don't have to use that. So now when I hit apply, what it does, it goes and it scans my database and it tells me who is the patient that will get written off. And as soon, if I say okay, I'm going to hit write off and it will write them off. Okay. I'm going to change this. I'm going to do just to, I'm going to make it less than 150 just to show you how it's going to pick less options here. So if I hit apply, hit OK, it goes and it find me only 3 patients. Then it's going to, write them off to the small balance write off. If I hit write off, it goes and write them off and it will give me a report when I'm done. So anything was done today, I'm going to create a date of today's date, and I'll leave this. Okay, so this is all the patient that we're getting written off. To just show you what it will look like when you are in a transaction entry. So let me go to this patient, just show you. It looks like a human did it. Okay, so this is the patient. I'm going to click on this just to get to the. So here is the line that I want to go to. So here it is. And down here it has the written off amount. So here's today's date, small balance write-off, who paid it, assume it's the patient responsibility, and reflected the different charges to write off the whatever balance was open. Any questions on small balance write-off? Okay, so the question from Dr. Hines is, can we do a small balance write-off with insurance company with the type of date? Okay, so that's the number one confusion where people think they can do write-off for the insurance company. You cannot do it with the small balance write-off because the small balance write-off is designed patient remainder balance. Uh, you have to clear the balance from the insurance company and make it patient responsibility before you can write it off. Or I'll show you a different. So the other question was, is this feature not available in all systems? You have to have Advanced, Medisoft Advanced, or Medisoft Network version. To find out what version you have, you need to do the following. So you go to Medisoft, you click on Help and About Medisoft. If it doesn't show you Advanced here or Network, you probably have the basic version. The basic version does not include this feature here. So to get around the patient balance and you want to write off an insurance balance, the way I normally show you how to do it is you go to the money bank, you click new, and you put, let's say I'm writing off balances for Aetna, and you don't leave, don't put a dollar amount. You hit save. Then you go and apply. You go to patient by patient where you know that you need to write off. So let me take Dwight, for example, here. So this is all the balances for Dwight. See here, remainder balance. And if I write it off here, now this is the default adjustment. I can change this adjustment, and let's say I don't recommend having an adjustment for each insurance company. Do not do this. I like to see insurance payment, patient payment, insurance adjustment, small balance write-off, bad debts. Okay, so whatever the amount, whatever adjustment you're going to take, I'm taking the small balance write-off. Also, if I do $60 here, if I go down the line here and I keep just writing off, everything I wanna to write off, so I'm bringing the patient balance to zero, and that's the easiest way of doing it. And just keep going until you write everything off. Then you hit save, and when you are here, if it bugs you by having like the prompt to come up to print a statement or to bill in remainder insurance, you don't really have to have them on. You can turn them off, and always remember how it was last time. When I hit save here, it's not going to prompt you anymore. Okay, so patient balance in a batch. Okay, yes, I can apply a patient balance in a batch. So let's say if Dwight paid me money and just to the same place that I was at, and I clicked on the dollar sign here, uh, and when I hit new, it assumes it's an insurance payment. I can change this to say patient payment, and let's say the patient paid me by check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the patient paid me, $2,000. And the chart number for the patient was Dwight again. Okay, so I'm gonna hit save here. So now this is a $2,000. It needs to be paid to multiple day of service. Again, this feature is not available in basic. This is advanced and network professional. So now when I hit apply, okay, it brings me all the open balances for Dwight. Now, if I don't see everything, turn this off, okay, because if you have this turned on, it means there was some type of payment applied against that line, and it's not going to show you. But if you turn it off, it shows you everything. Now, I received $2,000. I have something here called apply to all this. So if you're a plastic surgeon or if you're patient, you depend on lots of patient payment, not necessarily insurance payment. If I want to fulfill all the remainder. So if I hit apply to all this, look what's going to happen. It's going to fill everything for me. It's going to apply everything to all the lines. So see how put everything to zero. So I applied my $2,000 just like that in one click of a button. So apply to all this. Apply to copay. I'll cover that next time. Um, I see a hand there. So let's see. Dr. Patel or hello.
Yes, I just wanted to know if so if I want to write off the lab for multiple patients, that's how it'll cover it, right? It'll suppose we want to write off something for n number of patients, so that's how we go about it, correct?
Okay, so if you repeat your question, how do you to create a lab? You said.
No, no, no. If suppose there are lab services for $21 and $61, two
Yes.
different amounts. Okay,
Hmm.
I have two different amounts. So if I put in $100, so or 61, so it'll show up all the 31 and 61, whatever we
Are
have.
you talking about small balance write-off, or you talking about patient
Yes,
pay?
yes,
Yeah,
small balance, right?
if the small balance is a
Hmm.
patient responsibility, like it was passed to the
Correct,
patient, then it will show.
correct.
Yes, it will show.
It'll show, right? And if I put 100, right, so it will show different amounts less than 100 for multiple patients, correct?
That's correct. so almost 50% of you are using electronic remittance. Let me just share with you something that somebody called me the other day and told me. Um, Electronic remittance is when the EOB comes in electronically and you get to apply it in the system. And we don't really force you or push you to do it. But I had a doctor that called me and actually kind of like almost yelled at me and told me, you should, it's a crime to make it an option for people. You should have it as a mandatory because it saves physicians or practices so many precious time. It makes their life a lot easier. Why do you make it an optional? You should force everybody to get into that. And Medisoft is really, there's not, they leave a lot of things a la carte because everybody has a different need. um, and we don't really push anybody to participate in anything. But what I'm trying to say here, if you have a use for electronic remittance, you should do it, or you must do it because it's going to save you tons of labors and it's all accuracy. Okay. So ERA is when the file comes in electronically from your clearinghouse, then you get to apply it to the system. And the EOB is going to come, like that. So each one will have a check number. It will say 835. It will have like a dollar amount, and it will tell you who is the provider, and it will tell you the date, and it will have a file name and the actual hard name of the file. All this fake data. I just made up this today, so that's why they're all the same check numbers. Um, Okay, so the when you're doing no, that's the insurance take back. When you're doing this is there's what you need to do is the following. So I'm gonna go, if you don't want to get into revenue managers, you just want to jump into the ERA, you can just go to activity, revenue management, and revenue managers reports. So there's a couple of ways of people getting an ERA inside their system. One way, if we have it hooked up with one of the partners that we deal with, and the ERA comes in without you doing anything, you just do get a report and it comes in. The other way is you have to download it, save it somewhere on your file, then you hit browse, and wherever it's saved, you go and wherever you downloaded it and you point to it and you hit open and it will open inside the system. I highly recommend, of course, if you're using one of our partners, it comes in without you doing any further work. This is all fake, so it's not gonna line up with, but I'm gonna show you how it will look when it lines up. I'm gonna go to the 835 here, and it's not gonna line up because this is fake patient, it's a fake ERA. And so from the top here is, if I hit print here, I'm not going to do it because it's not a real EOB. It should give you a hard copy of the actual EOB, just like the one you get in the mail, because I get people to say, oh, I like to see it, as a hard copy. So if you have the electronic remittance and you hit print, you can actually see the paper version of the EOB if that's what you're comfortable with. Post, if I want to post it. View, I have a couple of ways to view things. Unassign, if anything that's not assigned to a patient, so I can do that and I can find out which one didn't line up. Denial, if any denial that comes in from the EOB. So if you have a large EOB, those tools are extremely important uh, when you um, when you're applying, because it could be 20 pages, and instead of overlooking something, because if you had a post and you had a denial, it will post a zero payment and pass the responsibility to the patient, or maybe write it off altogether. So you want to look at it and review it before you do that, because maybe that's what the insurance company wants you to do, but that's not what you want to do. So then I'll take back, if there's any take back comes in from the insurance company, if you have a take back, it will come up here. Anything that was rejected, so I can go back and post everything. And if I hit post, this money will get into each person, And if I hit OK, it will just go and post it. So this is how you do ERA. So ERA, first you need to enroll. It's about $25 per month per provider. And how do you know, one of the questions, how do you know is if the insurance company is they can do ERA or not? It depending on which clearinghouse you have. There will be a list that shows you who can do remittance and who cannot. Uh, the big majority of insurance companies do remittance. Some insurance company does not like to give you the remittance if you're not participant in the insurance company. The next topic is eligibility verification. Okay, so eligibility verification is the same way as remittance. It's a membership. It's also about $20 per month per provider, and it allowed you to verify if the patient is insurance is active or not. So here's a couple things that it will look. Number one is you can do it from these office hours, or you can do it from the patient by patient. I've been covering patient by patient in previous seminars. Today I'm going to cover how we'll look in office hours. So in office hours, when you have the appointment, you will see a flag like this. If the patient eligibility is checked okay, the flag will be green. If the eligibility was not okay, the flag will be red. If the patient eligibility did not go successfully, it will be a question mark. So that this flag, it will happen inside Medisoft office hours. So how does that work and what does that mean? So let's say if I have 50 patients coming on Friday, and today I like to do my eligibility to know the 50 patients that's coming this Friday, are the insurance that they have is still active or not, and what's other information I would like to know about the patient. So you schedule the task for eligibility, and it goes and it scans your office hours for appointment. The patient has to have a chart number, of course. It has to have a case. It has to have a policy number, and the insurance company has to be set up. When you're setting up the insurance company, so each insurance company will have here eligibility pair ID. So just like you have here a claim pair ID, you have eligibility pair ID. And if you have Capario or Relay Health, those are the integrated. So I can come up here, and let's say if this was Aetna, I can come up here and search for Aetna. And for my eligibility, Aetna is happen to be, this is the pair ID, eligibility pair ID for Aetna. So if I do that and take it, if I double click on it, then it will go in here. uh, I don't know if this was Aetna or not, but this is just how to do it. If this was somebody else, you come up here, you type the name of the insurance, and this is Cigna. And so Cigna, so when you see an ID, it will that the eligibility works. So this is for Capario, this is for Relay Health. So Cigna, the pair ID for Cigna in Relay Health is called Cigna. So each insurance company could be different, and if you don't see it, then you can check. This database doesn't get updated all the time, so sometimes there is a newer list than what you see here. So this is how to set it up. Number one is to make sure you link it to the payer ID depending on the clearinghouse you have. Uh, Now, then after that is you will go into, let's say I want to do it inside the scheduling, and I want to do a task to verify my eligibility verification maybe 2 days before the day of service, or maybe 3 days before the date of service. So you're going to come up here and you're going to click on activity, eligibility, schedule. You come up here and you hit new, and you going to choose eligibility right here. And I'm going to hit OK, and it will point to the right file that you have. Let's say it's my training file. You need to log in. Then you want to call it whatever you want to call it, and you want to say it's every. This is run this task starting what day, and verify patient how many days before the appointment. So let's say I want the patient to be verified 3 days before the appointment or 2 days before the appointment, whatever you like. Then how many does not verify if the patient is already been verified less than a week ago or 5 days before. Why is this? Because some clearinghouse, they give you X number of eligibility for free. So let's say you get 200 eligibility for free, or no, I'm sorry, 200 for $20 a month. But if you've been verifying too many patients, they might charge you additional fee. So that's why it's saying if the eligibility happened within X number of days, then just skip it because you already verified it before. So set up the 5 here. And if this everything you did, you hit save. And now this task will run by itself 2 days before the appointment. And when it does, it will come, uh, it will come and you go to the office hours and you're going to see the patient. So the patient will look like this. So the patient will have a flag next to the, uh, it will have a flag here to tell you if the eligibility is done or not. Also, if you right click your mouse or you push F10, you will also see your verification here and you can see details about that verification. Okay, I have, so let me make sure that I covered everything in the agenda here. So that was the eligibility, and this is the eligibility task, just like I showed you. So now it's Q&A. Um, I'm sorry that we went over today. We just had too many questions. So one of the general Q&A was something about take back from Eileen. So the question is, take back when adjusting up the positive on the take back, the system does not assign a take back as a positive. So okay, so take back means I take money from one patient, give it to another. So when you do the take back, it increases the patient number one, then it decreases, then you apply it to a second patient. So let me demonstrate that for you. And you're going to start with here, and let's say I'm going to use the same EOB for $0. I'm going to use this. I'm going to say I'm going to apply this, and I'm going to go to Dwight, and I'm going to take money away from Dwight. So see this here is zero balance for 624. Visit 624. So let's say I'm going to do take back. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do take back. So let's say I take back $50. Now notice that this is a $0 here. So if I do that, watch what happened. Two things happen. Number one, this now has $50 to apply to somebody else. And now number two is this patient now has a $50 remainder. So if I do that and I hit save, now I have a $50 to apply. So let's say I apply that money to Anderson. And now if I apply my $50 here, so now I'm back to zero. So it took money from Dwight and it gives it to Anderson or Andrew. And if I hit save, now this is done. So let me just show you what happens to Dwight and what happens to Andrew. So if I go back to Dwight and I look at my, okay, so here's my take back. I select that. I just want to show you. So it's an adjustment. Now, this take back is programmed correctly. So this take back has an insurance take back type. If you don't have an insurance take back type, it's not going to work. So the type that you picked has to be a take back. It cannot be something, it cannot be an adjustment because this is a positive adjustment. That's how it added money back into take back is adds money. And if I go back to the other patient, I will see that the other patient has, I shouldn't get out, okay, it will have that $50 that I just applied. Okay, so it just applied that $50 for me just from today's date. So I did two birds with one stone. I took it back from Dwight and I gave it to Andrew, and this is how take back works. So hopefully that answers your question.
Final Draft is a built-in word processor
that allowed you to create letters for patients. You can do mail merge for one patient or a group of patients. For example, let's say if you want to do like a return to school letter or return to work letter, or maybe writing a letter to challenge an insurance claim, you can use all of that with the built-in word processor. How is Final Draft is different from like any popular brand name out there, like Microsoft Word or anything like that. The only difference is it's a simple word processor. It can allow you to do mail merge where taking the data into inside Medisoft. So you don't have to export the data out to a spreadsheet or to database. It will let you do it built into the software. So let's see how that works. So this is the icon. It says edit patient and notes final draft. So when I click on that, it opens the program final draft, which is you will see here all the icons that you're normally familiar with. So this is means new, opening an existing, save, uh, save as, print, preview, print, cut, copy, paste, alignment, all the different alignment. This is like a wizard to do the mail merge. And this is the other thing it has a medical dictionary built in it, which is you're not going to find in a standard word processor. This is help and exit. This is different shapes or forms where you can make boxes or you can make different colors so you can make a form look pretty. You can open this. If you open this while you are in a patient, so let's say I am in this patient account right here, and if I open the word processor, so it automatically opens the last letter I wrote for this patient. So anything that you type in here, if you do Control T as in time, it gives you a timestamp, and you can just type whatever you want. Or you can just copy and paste from maybe something else you had done in the past in Word. So I can copy it here, and if I save this, the next time I get into this patient, I click on the word processor, I get to see the same letter that I wrote for that patient. Of course, you can always open it from here. Uh, you can always open it from here, just like a regular note that you done. So that's a simple use. Now, what big of a deal is this? If you have not been intrigued by any of this, the beauty here, I can make a template and able to use it over and over again, and it will fill in all the blanks. Let me show you. The system comes with over 100 samples. So if I go here and I click on samples, so this is all the samples that it comes with. It's always easier to start with a sample than to try to do everything from scratch. So let's say I want to do an attorney report. So I started with here, I hit open. So anytime you see a pound with the red, that means that's a field coming from your Medisoft. So you go and type your letter. So let's say my letter started like that, or maybe my letter started with what I had before. So let's say here I'm pasting what I had in my clipboard. Okay. So here to whom okay, and how now I want to change this to the patient name. So instead of this, I'm going to remove this and I want to put the patient name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to either push F5 on my keyboard or insert. And over here, I can insert a field, I can insert a picture, or I can insert a stamp date or time from the system. So let's say I'm going to insert a field here, and I want to take the name of the patient. So I'm going to look. So this is patient. So this is all the tables that it can access. So this is almost all the table inside Medisoft. And when you see something called system, that will be like a date or time. But this is all this is patient information. patient custom screen. You can create your own custom screen where you can have field that doesn't normally does not exist in Medisoft. And this is case custom screen, and this is your normal case. So if you want to get like maybe the accident date, or maybe the when the patient was hospitalized, or when the patient was disabled, so you can access it like that. For this purpose here, I just want to go to the patient, and I want to go for patient full name, or maybe patient last first name, or okay. So let's say I'll go here and I said patient first name and last name. So I'm gonna push F here, first name. Then I'm gonna put a space, and I'm gonna do it again, field, and I'm going to take patient, and I'm gonna go down to last name. Okay. So I have patient first name, last name, and you continue. You get the idea here. And when you save this, so now I want to save this as a template for everybody to use it from now on. So if I do file save as, and now I'm going to make this a template so I can use it over and over again. So I'm going to call it letter, okay, and I'm going to hit save, okay, and hit save again. So how to use this? So from now on, when you want to use this, let me get out of this and get out of this. So if I am going to start with a blank letter, I'm going to maximize my screen. I'm going to hit insert. Now I'm going to insert a template. This is my letter that I just did, and who I want to write it to. I want to write it to Dwight. Now, because the information could come from different cases, it give you access to what case you want to use it for. So let's say I want to use it for the accident for the back pain. And now I'm going to hit insert, and voila, it has. Now, one of the type of field is called fill-in. Fill-in, where something that you don't have stored inside Medisoft, but you wanted to type it, maybe the name of the school, because you want to write a letter for the return to school, and you don't have the name of the school inside the patient demographic, so you can have it here where you can just type this is the file name, so I'm just gonna do lag 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm gonna hit replace. So it replaced the fill-in with the number that I typed. And if it exists somewhere else, it will stop you again, so you can have multiple stops. And that's it. So this is how to create. So use your imagination. Start with the samples. I'm going to show you one more thing where maybe I want to write a letter to all of my patients because maybe I want to pull out of an insurance company, or I want to tell them something about their health, or if you have an EMR, probably something about their health is better to do it with EMR. But if you don't have an EMR, that will be the second best thing. So you see this here? It's called Letter Wizard. So first you start with the template. So I'm going to go here and say template. And let's say I want to do the same exact one I was doing before. Then I'm going to hit next. It's going to ask me, do you want to do it for the last case? So you remember how a patient can have multiple case? It asks you if the information comes from a case, you want to use the last one, or you want to use the first one, or you want to choose. So let's say I'm going to select, I'm going to use the last case for patients. So I'm going to go with the default. And over here, you can pick and choose which range of patient you want. I can filter here. Maybe I want to filter for the patient with a billing code with a specific field, maybe collection, or maybe cash patient, or maybe a Medicare patient. So if you are using the billing code, so billing code is usually used for reporting, and you have other field here that you can filter with. So I'm not gonna pick that. I'm just gonna pick and choose from my own. So you can hold your control button, and you can just pick and choose the one you want, or you can do a range of which ones you want. So let's say I picked all of those patients here. I'm going to go to next now. Over here, it's telling me that it picked 11 patient, and now I'm going to hit preview, and voila, here's the letter. The only difference is it's not going to fill in the blank. You remember that fill in the blank? That will not work in this here. It's not going to prompt you. So here there's the information is coming. You see how the name of the patient keeps changing. See? And so I think this is really powerful. Use it, automate your practice, try to make those things automated so you're not spinning your wheel doing the same thing over and over again. I hope. Then I would like to thank you so much for your business and thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule and look forward for future seminars and go back and watch the older ones if they help you with the tips and tricks. So I'm trying not to overload you with options so you can, digest the smaller features. I'm doing this so you can get the best out of your Medisoft, and I want to do whatever it takes to make you successful using Medisoft. Thank you so much for your business and have a wonderful day.